welcome everybody to Toku Review Episode 2. It is me, Ramses, and to the left of me is Eric.
Hi.
So we got another exciting week of tokusatsu that we need to plow through. It's a really good one this week. Well, I don't know.
Megaforce, it's a good one.
Yes, Megaforce, I don't know how I feel about Megaforce, but Kyoryuger was amazing, and holy fucking shit, I loved Wizard. I can't wait until we get to Wizard. But first, we gotta start off with like a kind of like the weakest of the show first. So why don't we go Megaforce into Megaforce? Let me. So this episode starts off with Troy. He's having a nightmare of Gokaiger footage, which is not very common. Usually, I bust a boner during that footage myself, but he's definitely afraid of that footage. I don't know why, but there you go. So
because he thinks he might get phased out.
Exactly. So after that, it's the next day, and he's at the juice bar, and there's this guy. He's bragging all around like I am the Red Ranger, this and that, blah blah blah, and I'm like, you know, if it was me, I'd slap that son of a bitch right in the back of his head. Like, shit. And, of course, per usual, the monsters are like, well, let's unleash a monster. And if you put two and two together, the guy's like, I'm going to stop this monster. And the Rangers are like, no! For God's sakes, no, stay back! So, the Rangers go after him. They'll go after the monster, and then like during the fight, the guy comes back, and he's all like, you know, I want to help, I want to be a Power Ranger too. It's like, look, dude, you need to start wearing spandex if you want to start being part of us, dude. And yeah, so it's like they shut him off, and then he starts like interfering in their fight, and that causes them their fight, and they're all like, look, it's just reconvene somewhere else and let's just fucking train. So they go out and they're training, and the guy follows them, and they find out that we're being really followed by him, and it's like, you know what? Let me tell you everything I have to do to training. Go do what we're doing, and he fails so miserably. He's like, what I tell you? And the monster comes back. They fight the monster. And like the guy learns his lesson, like, oh my god, like we have to be like the real hero, this and that, blah blah blah. So the Megaforce Rangers get a new ability for their Megazord, yay! And the interesting part is that at the end of the episode, the guy introduces himself as Jyuden. But what ends up happening is when he talks to Troy, I think Ernie throws like something at him, and he actually grabs it like with amazing accuracy, and everyone's like, this could lead to something. So my thoughts, like, yeah, it's like there wasn't really, like, unlike the last episode where it was really cool that we got to see a little bit into like Noah's perspective, like we got to get a little bit of Noah's growth. Here, it just seems like, you know, it seemed that it was focused on Troy, but Troy, oh my god, he is like the worst character to focus on, period. And it's just like
as far as personalities go, he's probably the worst out of any Red Ranger so far, at least from what I've gathered. He seems really, really fucking robotic. And, you know, sorry about the language, but I mean, it feels like it's necessary. Like, I don't remember who I was talking to about this, but it seems like for the newer Power Ranger series, it's the acting ability or the acting caliber quality. It's seriously a step above porno. Like, honestly, I've seen better acting in big tit, you know, anal whores #9. And
I have that.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, don't get me wrong, some of them are okay, but Troy, very, very robotic, very stale, and I hope they really do more with his character. I think they're trying to make him seem like a stoic leader at first, but honestly, it's too early to do something like that. The reason being is that you need to pull people in with your character. If you don't, you're going to go ahead and lose them. Kids aren't going to be interested in that particular Red Ranger. They're going to go ahead and flock to any of the other ones. So then you're going to have the Red Ranger be unpopular throughout the rest of the series. I mean, you honestly don't have much to choose from. The Blue Ranger is, honestly, in my opinion, just as bad. And, wow, amazing. And whatever the else he says, honestly, I can't be bothered to deal with it anymore, just because it's fucking stale. It's horrible. And, there's a lot more I can say. The only thing I like about the series is the Pink Ranger. She's extremely hot, and that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, like I said, like some episodes are really good. Like last episode was good, but this week's episode, like I don't know how I feel about it. And like you hit a lot of what I don't like. Period, which is like the acting, and like the worst part is, like I said, like you just said, Troy as an actor and Troy as a character, like the way they're both portrayed, it just doesn't come out that well, and he's just very robotic. And the worst part is, I give Jyuden crap, but he's to be honest with you, compared to him, Jyuden is like forever like the greatest Red Ranger of all time compared to him.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a kid's show. I use this as kind of like a tool anytime I'm arguing with someone where they complain about the when they complain about the show itself, not being realistic or not, taking things too seriously. It's a fucking kid show. There's no way to cut it down the line or anything like that. The biggest issue I have with it is just, I mean, they could try a little bit harder. I'm seeing other shows like, I'm seeing other kid shows and the acting is a hell of a lot better. I don't know whether or not they just pick these characters because they look good, but honestly, it's really hard to take any of them serious. It really is, and
yeah. One last thought before we move on to something better, is that it's not just that. I mean, the problem is it's a problem twofold. Like if you want to get your even though it's a kids show, if you don't make your characters engaging enough, you're gonna be. It's like even for a kids show, it's like that's kind of like a turnoff because it just doesn't come off like you don't know what you're telling the audience, what you're trying to portray to this character. So, I mean, like I said, it was whatever episode with whatever actors right now this week, and like I said, there's like I said, we'll continue on with the show. We'll power through it, and hopefully things get better. I mean, Samurai had its moments as well, but like right now, Megaforce it's hit or miss right now. So right now it's one of the miss, but you know what? That's fine. Growing pains.
Yeah,
so,
that's exactly it.
So, with that in mind, why don't we go on to our next show, which is what do you say for the henshin for Kyoryuger?
I don't remember. I know the dance.
Yeah, which is.
There's no way I can do the dance on a podcast.
So imagine
as hard as I want to. I'm pretty sure you folks aren't going to see it. But
so
let's see.
Something, and then we'll start dancing it to Kyoryuger.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and see.
No, that's fine. We already got it already. So.
It's Brave In.
Brave
In is what they say.
Thank you.
And then it's like chompa chomp, kaputira, and then Kyoryu change.
Yeah. All right.
Dance.
So. We start off the episode with how does this episode start off again? Did it start off with
It starts off with Red, with Daigo or King, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, Daigo.
And he's sitting on a ledge, and he's drawing Kyoryugers, and he's kind of like. He's like, okay, this one was good with gun, this one was good with the sword. The girl was kind of this way, and the blue was, he was strong. And basically the other... Good?
No, that's fine. No, I was I remember, I was trying to remember, because it started off with them Like it was basically from them. That was basically a continuation from the last episode. Like literally, it's like they haven't even transformed back yet.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, keep going. Just to refresh my memory here. So keep going.
So, Red's right there, and he's talking about the team to himself, and he's drawing them out. And then the other Kyoryugers are looking on, and they see him, and they're like, "I can't believe he's the Red Ranger," and blah 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 blah. And then it shifts over to Blue. I think his name is Nobuo.
Yeah, Nobuo.
Nobu. Nobu, and it shifts over to Nobu, and apparently his sister is a Super Sentai alum, Yumi Kinoshita, but she's not playing Jasmine. She's playing.
That's Jasmine? Sister. Holy fuck!
That's Jasmine.
She fucking changed so much. Oh my god, I didn't recognize her. Holy shit!
I thought so too. When I first saw it, I'm like, wait, is that like I had to watch it over a few times, but yeah, it's a Yumi Kinoshita.
Holy crap! Anyways, keep going.
So she's basically she asked Nobu, what do you are you gonna come and see your niece's dinosaur monument or blah 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 at the museum, and she's telling him about the Kyoryuger, saying that they're dangerous and that stuff like that happens, blah 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 blah. So you can tell he's kind of skeptical about being a Kyoryuger, and then panel over, basically screen wipe. And the next thing we see is the Kyoryu Pink, Ami. And
she's training.
She's training. And she's apparently, I would say, she's kind of like an heiress, I would say. Seems like it. Her parents are out of the country, and she's being taken care of by her butler. Mm-hmm. And so, she's training in the room. He comes in, and seriously, like, Lupin speed, she's in her clothes.
Yeah.
Although with Lupin, it's like the other way around, where snap of a finger, he jumps out his clothes.
Yeah.
She's just like, she's not training or anything like that. Blah 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 blah. And
then nothing conspicuous is happening here. So let me take over.
Exactly.
Then. So the next day, Nobu goes out and they find the monument. We find Daigo with the monument.
Right before that, we actually see kind of how the new enemies are created, more or less.
Oh yeah, that's right.
An emotion is chosen, and then from that spawns a particular enemy. Now,
no whammy, big money.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. So, they go and they steal a bunch of stuff from the humans, and then they're like, okay, how are we gonna make another demon monster? And he's like, okay, well, you gotta basically, think about what you need to do, and then we'll choose a specific emotion, and then out of that emotion, we'll go ahead and we'll create a new monster. And so I guess out of this particular one, they chose sorrow.
Yeah.
So that was, I guess, the theme for this particular enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just a dude that smashes shit. That's pretty much it. Right after that, it goes right next to the monument, and King is there. Yeah. And Nobu sees him, and Nobu and Ami see him, and he's just like, "Oh, hey, it's you guys! I remember you from the restaurant." Okay, well, he's there. He's apparently able to carve shit with his hands, and so he carves a head for this dinosaur monument that he built, and it's just basically a dinosaur made out of trash.
Yeah.
And pretty much from there, he's just talking about spending time with the kids and blah blah blah. And Ami's just like, oh well, I can see why they call him King, just because he's a great guy. And so he sees Nobu, and he's like, oh hey, is this your family? And he's like, well yeah. He's like, it's not my wife, but it's my sister and my niece. Mm-hmm. And so they're at the monument, and that's pretty much it.
After that,
basically.
So the monster attacks monster attacks after that, and they're destroying the city, and they all that happens afterwards. So Daigo transforms, and he's taking care of the monsters, and and then Nobu he has his family by his side, and then
he's a little bit distraught in the situation. The reason being, is that he feels that if he doesn't, his sister doesn't approve of the Kyoryugers. She thinks they're dangerous. So he doesn't want to, transform and lose her, I wouldn't necessarily say approval, but he doesn't want, he doesn't want anything to happen to them. Mm-hmm. So Daigo runs in, shoot first, act later, or shoot first, think later. So pretty much from that point forward, it's a fight. He's going, he's learning, he's able to take down the fodder, and he's doing pretty well against the enemy.
Yeah.
So
after that, the monster appears. So no, how am I saying? The monster did appear. So the monster appears in front of the monument and destroys the monument. And since it's a sadness, he's feeding off the sadness of Nobu and her sister, his sister and her daughter, from them breaking the monument. And he feels kind of like regret for like letting that happen under his watch. So, well, we cut back, and the monster leaves, and it cuts back. It cuts to that same scene again. It cuts to them doing the monument again, and they're rebuilding the monument. And then they said we shouldn't feel sad about this. Like it's like that shit happened to us anyway. So it's like we gotta just rebuild and keep going. And after that, he Nobu realizes that we have to. No matter how hard things go, we have to keep going. And then the monster reappears, and he destroys it. But then they're like, oh, that's fine. You just take care of business. And then he reveals that he is Kyoryu Blue. And then Amy transforms, and then reveals to his butler that she's Kyoryu Pink. And then then all three of them realize that they're all who they really are, and then they fight together. And the monster grows. Actually, they beat the monster first. Yeah. And then they beat the monster, and then they form the Kyoryugen. Did I say it right?
Kyoryugen.
Yeah, Kyoryugen. Jin.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then they defeat the monster. Which is here's the thing. Just really quick. I didn't know it was 3 pieces. I thought there were 5 pieces that made it up.
Well, I think at the start of the series, I think it's only 3, and then basically it's probably just going to be like... Well, I don't know if it's going to be like Go-Onger was, where they had, the 2 Rangers. In this situation, it's also, black and green.
Yeah.
If they're going to be able to join in, or if they're going to be like... what's the word I'm looking for? If they're going to have their own mech.
Yeah.
I'm kind of leaning towards the second, because, I haven't seen Kyoryugen, or the toy itself, so I don't know how it's going to actually work out with adding the other two dinos, basically.
So that's pretty much about it. So you any other thoughts?
No, it was a good episode. It was really, really nice seeing Yumi Kinoshita again. She's still very, very attractive. I'm still bummed that she's married, but good for her. At that point too, I kind of I'm getting a bit more connected with the actual Rangers themselves in the series. Nobu, I didn't really care for him as much, but after seeing a bit more of him, it's actually pretty good. Amy or whatever, very, very good Pink. I'm actually really happy. Like I said, I didn't want her to be one of the typical I'm a girl, typical girl in a Sentai. I can't really do much. No, she's actually very strong. She can take care of herself. She can hold her own, and that was probably the best part about it. And she can actually fight too.
Nobu.
Yeah, Nobu has plus 20 to brute strength.
Brute strength, and he has he has a family. He takes care of his sister and her daughter. That's a huge responsibility, and that's
doesn't he work 2 jobs or something like that?
Yeah,
I think in the character profile.
Yeah, but
yeah,
like,
he's a really, he cares. That's the good thing about it. Because previously you had it where the Blue Ranger was kind of like, I wouldn't say the cocky one of the group, but he was like the over.
he was like the opposite of whatever the Red Ranger was.
Not so much that. Because okay, say for instance, Go Kaiser.
Mhm.
Joe was kind of the cool. I'm keeping to myself.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna really do that much. Blah 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 blah. Basically, they were a bit more, I would say, like high strung. They're like, okay, this is how things should do. This is how this is how things should be. Like prime example was Ryunosuke from Shinkenger.
Yeah, that's
How he
right.
was, I have to be this way. This is how things need to be done. And it's completely different with Nobu. He's
Yeah.
just, he's like, I care, and I'm gonna go ahead and fight like I need to. Um, Green and Black are proven to be dicks. I mean,
So
I know
far,
it's just
yeah.
only the second episode, but it's like their personalities are kind of off-putting. I mean, I'm pretty sure Black is just gonna be the cocky one of the group. Green is gonna be the serious one. Nobu is gonna kind of be. I'd say it's kind of hard this early on to kind of prejudge what they're gonna be just going off of 2 episodes itself, but. It's actually really good. I mean, I'm actually enjoying the series quite a bit.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like I love how they flesh out the characters, and they flesh them out in a very unique way. Like I never, like I was like, I mean, sorry to say this about Sentai, but it's like for the last couple of Sentais, it's been kind of like cookie cutter when it came to like their personalities, and it's
Yeah,
really, really good. Especially when I saw like how Nobu was, and how he acted with his family. Oh my god, I
yeah.
fell in love with the characters so much, and it's just like I love how this series is going. And like at first I was I was kind of lukewarm because like there wasn't really much to it, and like I said, like you said, Daigo, like he has to sort of like you have to give him a couple more episodes for him to grow on you. But
Yeah.
now that we finally have everything fleshed out, I'm really loving where this series is going. And like I said, it's not traditional. Like I said, we have Nobu who has a family, and he's kind of like older. He's kind of the older, bigger brother kind of character to like now everyone, not just to his family, and he assumes the responsibility of all of that on his shoulders, and that's kind of that is something that is like a quality I've not seen I've never seen that kind of quality in a Sentai like ever. I mean, you might prove me wrong, but like to have him having a family, be a little bit older, and that's something very unique, and it
Yeah,
also
I think he's probably like as far as like the recent era of Sentai is concerned. I'm pretty sure he's the oldest.
yeah, and like not only that, it's like he has so much responsibilities because he's the oldest as well. So it's like you get a semblance of like, wow, I'm like I have the world on my shoulders, and I got no choice but to keep it on my shoulders. And with Amy, like even though it is kind of a cookie concept, but it's unique how they're approaching the cookie cutter concept with her. Where it's just like
Yeah,
she's like instead of like her she reminded me at first of Ahim, where she was like she was very rich, but like she came from a rich family, and she learned how to take care of herself eventually. But like here, first thing first, she learned she's there fighting, and like hopefully we'll get a little bit more out of her once we know what her deal is about why she's been training and stuff like that. And that's gonna be one of the more interesting. That's gonna be more interesting to find out like what was her purpose about her taking up training, and like you said, black and green, like they're gonna be dicks, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna warm up to the main characters and stuff like that. So
I think Black's probably going to be that way. I think the way that his character is, he's going to be very, very cocky. Um, and phallic terms aside, um, I think Green is probably just going to be kind of like I wouldn't say so the serious one of the group, but I think he's probably going to be kind of dry, which is kind of I mean compared to the most recent Greens, I would say you have
Gokai Green, which
can't
he was
even
the
talk.
goofball.
Who? Oh
Gokai
yeah,
Green,
Don. Yeah, Don from
yeah,
Go
Don,
Kaiser.
who was a
He was kind
goofball.
of the goofball. Yeah, you had
Shinken
Shiaki
Green,
from Shinkenger.
yeah,
He was I wouldn't say a goofball, but he was kind of like the more playful of the group.
the more happy-go-lucky kind
Then
of
you had
character.
I'm sorry.
Like I said, the more playful, the more happy-go-lucky kind of guy. Um, and then like what? Go on green.
Yeah, Honto, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's
Yeah,
yeah.
he was he was I wouldn't say, yeah, he was really playful.
Yeah.
What?
So, but like, no, never mind. It's I was remembering a picture. Like, never mind. I'll explain to you later. Anyways, that about wraps it up then. How, like, why don't we shabby dabby do touch the henshin to Wizard?
Yep.
And so we start off the episode with like it started off with Gremlin. He was talking to Medusa, right?
Yep.
But so Medusa's talking to Gremlin, and like he's saying like maybe I can come up with a plan to take care of all the Wizard. So so after that we cut to the donut like to the donut van.
Well, not so much. No. Right after the talk between Medusa and Gremlin, it goes to Rinko getting released from the hospital.
Yeah, that's right.
After the last episode, she was hospitalized,
and everyone was like, "Wow, you!"
Hospital.
Yeah, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, it's amazing that you bounced back so quickly. This and that, blah blah blah."
Yeah, and then she encounters an old woman who apparently knows who she is. Next is the donut shop.
Yeah,
and,
so
you have
you have Kosuke. He's like, I'm gonna be on a date. Like, she asked me.
Yeah,
like,
Kosuke, he sees Shunpei and Haruto there at the donut shop, and he's just like, oh, she wants to go on a date. He's like, I didn't think I was her type, but you know what? I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. And he even has his hair kind of combed all nice.
Yes.
He's wearing a tie too, above everything else. It's like
he's like still wearing the gouty. It's amazing. Keep going.
Yeah, it's like a pink leopard spotted tie. And so he sees Rinko, and she's just like, hey. And who pops out right behind Rinko?
It's his grandmother. He's like, ah! And so that's how the episode starts.
He's frozen.
Yeah, so I turn.
It was a hilarious episode. So she's kind of she's asking, what are you doing here?
Like I thought you were somewhere else. This and that, blah blah blah. I thought you were somewhere else. Why are you here in Tokyo? This and that. And we eventually realized like she's kind of like an asshole to him. She's kind of she's very disciplined.
She's being I would say kind of strict with him.
Yeah, strict.
God, did you notice how many sugars Haruto put in his coffee? Like, he seriously, ripped open 5 of those, straw packets and then just poured them all in. Oh, God. I hate coffee, but, I guess that's the only way to make it drinkable, but even at that point, you're going to be, wired deep.
Well, that's how I am. But, to pull back a little bit of the curtain, that's how I am right now.
Yeah, so, he's just saying, don't tell, he goes up to Haruto and Shunpei, and he's like, don't tell my grandma I'm a wizard. Don't tell her.
Don't tell her anything, for God's sake.
This is what you guys need to do. And he's just like, wait, what? And he gets him to listen really close, and then he just bolts off, and he's just running for dear life. So at that point, you see Kosuke's grandma. She looks a little
perplexed,
kind of a little distraught.
She's like, she doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
She's just like, why is he acting this way, blah, blah, blah. And then we see the next Phantom for this episode. And is it it looks like a shark?
Yeah.
Is it a shark?
It's like a shark? It's like, I would say it's more like,
it looks like an anglerfish.
It's something. It just has like a really buff body.
It's something fish related. That's all I know.
Yeah. So Gremlin approaches him just approaches him like, hey, by the way, dude, come on, why don't you and me take care of this? Take care of the wizards. Come on. What are you, chicken? And so he tempts him, and then they're following Haruto to so they're no, what's happening is they take Haruto's they take Kosuke's grandmother back to the house. I think I better lay off the coffee. So I take him back to the house.
Even before that, really, what ends up happening is Shunpei's showing Kosuke's granny around, and they're in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, oh, well, you know, when you're in Tokyo, even for only a day, you need to go ahead and do this and do this and do this. And then the new Phantom comes out, and what ends up happening is basically...
Anyways, keep going.
He kind of ambushes them.
Yeah, he can't.
And so Shunpei's just like, oh crap, what do I do? What do I do? And so they try to run away, and you know they call to everyone. They're like, hey, get here. And the funniest thing is Kosuke is just wrapped around a tree, just not budging, not letting go. And Rinko's trying to pull him off. And so they get the call. They're like, okay, Granny's in trouble. And Shunpei's walking. That beer went down a little rough. Shunpei's there with his giant walking stick, and you know he tries to attack the Phantom. That thing just snaps in twain.
Yeah.
It looks like the Phantom is about to get Shunpei in a torture rack. I saw that. It was really, really funny. And go on.
So then Wizard appears. The Wizard appears, and then the Wizard appears. And he starts fighting him, and also Haruto appears as well, and like he's trying to find his best, trying to like find a way to like tension without no one noticing that while his grandma figuring out what's happening. So he darts off, and everyone's like, "Where are you going?" And like, "Gotta go."
Yeah, and the funniest thing was he hides behind a ledge basically, or like a little mini wall. And he's like, okay,
he does the whole henshin thing, like right behind.
He does the henshin pose and everything like that while he's sitting down.
So he comes out.
Honestly, like, go ahead.
No, we'll say your thought first.
Kosuke is like my favorite character in this series so far.
I know he's so fucking amazing. And then like, if this next part doesn't fucking doesn't like get you, then you have no soul. So
it really So he's just okay. He's like, he jumps into battle, and he doesn't want his grandma to know that it's him. So he masks his voice, but he doesn't give himself like a deep voice or distort it, kind of like some of the other writers, like Meteor did. He did that for a bit.
Yeah.
What he's doing is basically
he's just being really high pitched. He's like, "Hi, I'm a girl."
He's like, "Hi, I'm the magical girl beast," and he even gives himself like a really like a feminine like moves and stuff like that, and he shows off his ass one part of the episode, and everyone's just like, "Wait, he's serious right now," and oh god, man. There's not much else really to say, and it's just he doesn't want to get found out. So
he doesn't get found out, and so they bring him back to the home base afterwards because the monsters leave, and after that, he pretty much tells them like, look, Haruto finds Kyosuke, and Kyosuke's like, look, you need to take her out of Tokyo like ASAP. Please, beginning of the morning, like, I need you, for God's sakes, take her out, take her out, because I don't want her to be in any of this business at all. So, afterwards, the gremlin, he's like, wait a minute, the Beast Wizard is trying to protect the gate here. Because apparently they figure out that the gate is actually Kyosuke's grandmother. They're like, she's trying to protect the gate for some reason. What if we bait the Beast Wizard to get our gate? And I was like, wow, that's a brilliant plan. Mm-hmm. I'm not even being funny. That was a smart plan. So afterwards,
they kidnap Granny, and Kosuke, well, even beforehand, you find out exactly what's Kosuke's deal, why he doesn't want to be around his granny.
Yeah.
And basically, they grew up in the countryside. He was always an adventurous kid, which is doing exactly what kids do, where they, you kind of just want to do a bunch of, reckless stuff. You get into mischief and things like that. Well, his grandma was just looking out for what's best for him.
Yeah.
You know, she had to be a little stern because he was a stubborn kid. So he took that as his grandma, you know, being, you know, mean to him and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, and calling, you know, he calls her a slave driver, basically.
But at one point,
And,
like after I think after high school, he approaches her saying like, "I'm gonna be an archaeologist," and she's like, "No." And he's like, "You know what? I don't need to take you. I don't need to take your orders or anything like that from this family. I'm leaving, whether you like it or not." And that's when he left.
yeah.
So, I mean, after that, so Haruto takes Granny to the bus, and you know, but just before Haruto can get into the bus, the bus driver like closes the bus door, and he leaves, and Kyosuke is running after like, "Wait, stop, wait!" Meanwhile, inside the bus, the Phantom appears and they attack Granny. Inside was Kyosuke. This guy's in the like.
Yeah, and he's dressed up with this. He seriously has this like Nabashin looking like getup. He has this like weird like Afro wig type thing.
Yeah,
and
wig,
he
and he's
like,
got like
those
this. Yeah, John Lennon glasses like and a mustache and everything.
Yeah, so he's fighting him off. He's doing an okay job, and I think something happens, and
no, what ends up happening is like he has to like during the fight he reveals that it's Kyosuke. So he's like,
yeah,
look,
he gets the hat and wig knocked off, the hat, wig, glasses, and mustache knocked off.
Yeah, and he's like, look,
no,
we'll argue later.
He's cowering over. I wonder if this was intentional or not. But there's a rose embroidered on his collar, or not on his collar, but on one of the cuffs of his shirt. So I was wondering if that was like a nod to Joe Shigeru from basically from Kamen Rider Stronger. I don't know if it was or not, but I just thought that was kind of cool. If it was, if it is, then that's awesome. If not, then oh well, he has a rose embroidered on his cuff. But he henshins inside the bus, and the Phantom's just driving the bus normally. You know, nothing. Completely, they're driving in what looks like a parking lot.
Yeah,
I guess it's one of the locations where they film everything. You know, Toei they use the same locations, but basically they're fighting on the bus. And I've always kind of wanted to do this, just because the bus driver always tells me to sit down when the bus is in motion. But I can kind of see, just because he gets flung, he gets thrown out of the bus. But I think it'd still be fun. But that's neither here nor there. So during this fight, basically, Kosuke is kind of he kind of has this stuff, he kind of has his stuff cut out for him. Haruto shows up on the Machine Winger. I think that's the name of it, right? The motorcycle.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Machine Winger. He shows up on Machine Winger, and he stops him. And he's like, "Okay, hey, gotta do this." Haruto, he gets the I forgot what ring it. Oh yeah. He gets his giant hand out, and he's like, "Stop!"
Yeah, he stops him like dead afterwards. After that.
Yeah, he's like, "What did the five fingers say to the bus? Stop!"
Stop.
So they start fighting, and they find out. Basically during the fight, they find out that Wizard can use Beast's rings.
And not vice versa, and he's like,
gets a little pissed off too. He's like, wait, you can use mine, but I can't use yours. This is no fair.
Yeah, he's like, he's trying to hench it. He's trying to use his ring, because like the monsters knock out their rings, and they're like, they get them switched, and they're like, hey, sweet. And then what I like, there's a particular line I like when during the fight, Haruto's like, hey, let me keep this ring. You're like, no, wait, no, I need that.
Yeah. He's like, Kosuke, can I have this? But yeah.
So
it's pretty cool. But Granny finds out that Kosuke needs I would say mana, or he needs to consume phantoms to survive. And so, looking out for his best interest, what she decides to do is she wants to have a phantom, or she wants to give in to despair, and she wants to have a phantom born from her, just so she can keep Kosuke alive. And he's just like, you don't know what you're saying. And she's like, I'm not going to run and hide. She's like, do it. She's like, take the phantom out of me. I want Kosuke to survive, or Kosuke to live on. And the episode cuts at that point, and Gremlin reveals himself, and
no, actually, what ends up happening?
Like,
after that, before that, Shunpei gets attacked. Like Shunpei tries to stop him, and then what ends up happening,
Yeah.
they knock out Shunpei, and they're like, "Look, we'll make a trade. If you give us Granny, we'll give you back Shunpei." And they're like,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh shit, what do we do?" So, and that's where the episode ends, where basically the Phantoms like have an ultimatum, like either you surrender Granny for them to give birth to the Phantom, or we kill Shunpei.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was it in a nutshell. And holy fucking shit, this was amazing.
Very, very good episode. Very, very good episode.
Like if you haven't heard me laugh, this episode made me laugh so much. But also, it's like it shows that it shows that even in it shows that how competent the bad guys are by having that elaborate plan, and that was really cool. Like I was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Like the Phantoms are a legit threat because like they actually came up with a threat, came up with a plan that's like not like I'm pretty sure that at the end of the day like the heroes are gonna win, but that's amazing that they can get away with such an elaborate and smart plan like this.
Yeah, they can do stuff. You know, they're not just basically a just a typical bad guy where we try and do something bad. Oh well, it doesn't work out. Oh well, we'll try again next week.
Yeah.
No, in this situation, they're going for blood, and
Yeah.
they know what they want, and they're gonna freaking take it. That's the great thing. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, and like we sprinkle our thoughts throughout the episode, like how much we love Haruto as a character, and like I would be so disappointed if they don't do a follow up with him, because like he would be so amazing if we have at least like something at the end, like a postscript episode or something like that, with just him.
You mean Kosuke, not Haruto.
Kyosuke, my bad. Yeah, the coffee's taking effect.
I mean, I hope that would be great if they did something like what they did with Excel.
Yes.
Where he had his extra thing right after, because he's a great character. I mean, Haruto's not so serious to the point where he's just not, he's not like, okay, well, I gotta be serious, I gotta do this. I mean, he's playful to a point, but you have Kosuke, where Kosuke's just like,
he's all over the place.
Hey guys, like he's that dude where I wouldn't say he's necessarily oblivious, but he's just like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, no, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. He's 100 places at one time, and it's great because his character is just all over the place.
Yeah, and like I said,
that's how I feel about it.
Well, Kyosuke, he's like Haruto. Like I was talking to Sen about this, and me and Sen came to an agreement that Haruto, he's like Mr. I speak with my actions. Like he lets his actions speak for his words. And Kyosuke is like the anti Haruto, where he's like his antics like speak his language, and he's kind of like a very playful character in that regards. While you have Haruto, who's very he has his moments of also being kind of like funny too, but he's very much like he's a man of action. Like I'm gonna do this because I am I'm programmed to. I wouldn't say even programmed like that. That's like I need to do this because like this is what's needed. And with Haruto,
he has kind of a stigma to him.
Yeah.
It's the whole phantom thing. Whereas with Kosuke, it's like nothing's really bad gonna happen. Nothing bad's really gonna happen to me unless I don't consume phantoms. If that's basically the only thing that I have to worry about. That's really it for him. Whereas with Haruto, there's a lot of different things that he has to worry about. So I think that kind of brings his character down a little bit, not by a lot. It's not like he's dreadful to watch because of it, but it brings his character down to the point that Kosuke's doesn't have to deal with.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like and like it's good that we have like a very 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 Kosuke focused episode, and especially like you pick up on a lot of his like mannerisms. Even like when you show him as a little kid, he still looks as fucking like this little weirdo. I'm like, what the fuck? Stop laughing.
Yeah, no, it is great. He's a pretty funny looking guy. Plus him and his mayonnaise, it's so hilarious.
I know.
And I remember I was telling someone about that, and they're like, "Oh, dude, that's gross." I'm like, "Well, to be honest with you, I like Japanese mayonnaise. It's a lot better to deal with than American mayonnaise." But that's just saying.
So any other thoughts?
That's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's one of the things where it's like we'll let the episode speak for itself because it's like I think like it's been a while since I actually had a lot of fun watching an episode of anything like this. I think the last time I had like this much fun was, I mean, and granted, I think that was how it was supposed to be designed. Was the episode 1000 of Kamen Rider with Kamen Rider O's, where he just like, well, let's throw everything out the window. Let's just make this let's make this comedy episode. So, and I felt like that too. I was just like, let's throw the fans at least a bone and let's show a little bit more of Beast for a little bit.
Yeah, that was
and
I
said, and then not only that, it's like like in between is a really good story. That's the best part. In between all this is like a really, 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 really good story.
Yeah, it wasn't stale at all to deal with.
Yeah, so alright, so I guess that's about it for this week. Any other thoughts about this week in Toku that you want to say before we close?
Nope, it's a good week. Sans,
Megaforce.
Megaforce, of course, but that's not really Toku. That's American special effects shit.
He said it on me.
So, honestly, hope you guys are keeping an eye out for Tamashii Nations. It's gonna be fucking great. I'm really excited to see a lot of the stuff that's gonna be announced and shown.
Yeah, same
and
here.
Other than that, yeah, I really don't have much else to add. What about you, Rami?
No, not much either. So, same time next week. Hopefully we'll have another episode, and then hopefully another group of episodes too. That hopefully, we'll get by. So, yeah, I think I'll close off.
Also, I believe it's gonna be great. I'm not too sure if the majority of people are actually going. Or Rami, are you going to WonderCon this month?
I don't think so, no, because I just got a new job.
Ah, okay. Well, hopefully you do make it out. If not, oh well. I mean, I'm gonna be there. I don't know if Stan and Deb are planning on going, but I will be there. Right. If any of you guys, want to go ahead and talk about tokusatsu, I know there are a few people in the actual fandom that are going to be going, and I guess we may have a little bit of a meetup. But yeah, hope to see you guys out there, and hope to talk about tokusatsu and whatnot. So yeah, with that said, that's it for me.
Alrighty then, so I guess I'll close everything off by giving us the usual spiel. You can find us at www.plasticjoy.com. Again, you can find us at www.plasticjoy.com. As for me, I am Ramses, and that is a very handsome and very beautiful Eric saying goodbye.
See ya.